Modern jeepneys natin can either be Euro 4, hybrid, or electric. Pero in terms of design and capacity, meron ba tayong specifics doon?
So we are now working with the DTI Bureau of Product Standards for the specifications of the new modern jeepney. So there will be, at the moment, there are two types of modern jeepneys. Yung urban jeepney and yung usual natin na jeepney na low roof. Yung urban jeepney kasi, it will have a high roof so that people will be able to efficiently move in and out, load and unload of the vehicle. The doors will be at the side, nasa right side na siya, near the driver, dun sa passenger right side of the driver. So yun yung ginagawa namin with the DTI Bureau of Product Standards. It will take them at least 2 months to develop that standards. After which DTI, in cooperation then with the OTR, will launch this prototyping ng mga PUV with local manufacturers, local bodybuilders that are who wants to support this PUV modernization program. It's like a beauty contest of some sorts, no? Manufacturers will come up with a product solution. We will have a contest. The one who will have the best design will be given incentives by the DTI, no? DTI Board of Investments. So DTI is also over here at the back, yung mga supporting din ng DOTR. So yun yung isa sa mga tinitingnan namin na which is announced earlier that there will be an incentives mechanism also for local manufacturers, so yung mga jeepney natin will be developed here locally.
Shot ko lang. On the side pwede ko nang sabihin ito. Kasi we're coming up with a memorandum of agreement between DOTR and DTI as regards product standards insofar as vehicle specification is concerned. And on the side kanina, nag-usap-usap yung dalawang sekretaryo, si Secretary Togade at si Secretary Lopez, and they're one in supporting local car manufacturers. So ilalagay ho namin dun sa memorandum of agreement to support local car manufacturers. So alam nyo kung sino kayo, so we will push that insofar as in the same way that we're biased with public transport cooperatives, we're also biased for local car manufacturers.
Sir, good afternoon po namin ng Philippine Star. Sir, ask ko lang kasi sa PUV sectors or PUV groups want rehabilitation instead of new cars. So does it mean na within the 3-year period, i-replace na natin lahat ng jeepneys or open kayo sa idea ng rehabilitation?
Yung some groups are saying that baka pwede rehabilitation na lang, magre-rebuild na lang sila ng kanilang mga jeepneys. Unfortunately, that mode na sinasuggest nila is not a holistic rehabilitation. Papalitan lang nila yung makina pero yung the jeepney itself, yung comfort, the convenience, the drivability ng driver, pero yung chassis niya the same pa rin, yung body niya the same pa rin. Hindi yan holistic na gusto nating ma-transform yung jeepney natin sana. We want a modern jeepney that has the convenience and safety features, drivability, maneuverability na dapat para sa driver and para sa mga pasahero. So, yung rebuild talagang hindi namin papayagan.
How many jeepneys do we have and are we looking to replace all of them? Kaya po ba yun?
We're talking about the number of jeepneys. The one that was flashed on the screen earlier is about close to 180,000. But we're not talking about 180,000 at once.
Within the 3-year period po kaya?
That's the one that we're looking at for now. Kasi ganito kasi, we have to look at it in a much larger scale. I think that is the reason perhaps why we have to have this kind of a launch. Personally, hindi naman ako ganun, just have to hold the problem by the neck and address it right away. But we need this kind of a launch to tell our people that government is serious about addressing this. No? So we're looking at a time frame which we think is realistic, because not only DOTR is the one working on this, not only DBM is working on this, not only DTI is working on this. So we're looking at a time frame which we think is realistic. If indeed kailangan hindi makakayanin, we're still open to the possibility of having to extend it. But the point being is that we need to start, and we need to start now. Kasi pag tatagalin mo pa ito, kailan tayo magsisimula? Ganun talaga ang gusto nating hawakan kaagad. We are going to seize the initiative and move it as fast, as strong, as firm as we can. And so far as the modernization program is concerned.
Then, to answer din kung kaya, in that scale, that magnitude of number of GPs, kaya natin binibigyan ng incentives program yung manufacturers. Right now, their current capacity, very limited. So yung incentives program na bibigay ni DTI, BOI sa kanila, is to help them scale up their manufacturing para mayroon silang economies of scale. Bibigyan sila ng incentives in the form of capital investments and tax incentives para makapag-cater sila nung the needed supply to reform the jeepney industry.
Next question.
Sir, we've recently seen the revised IRR of the anti-distracted driving law, which actually only covers gadgets. But a lot of people are brought up with PUVs. As we can see there, yung mga stickers po sa jeepneys can also obstruct the driver's view. Now, as part of this modernization, is there a plan to address that?
Independent, in fact, of this PUV modernization program is just to directly address that issue. Mangyari din kasi yung batas speaks of specific gadgets na pinagbabawal. So yung iba ho, hindi pinagbabawal. So we're taking initiative, and we appreciate Congress for coming out with that law, that LTFRB will look closely covering PUVs. Ibig sabihin no, taxi, PUJ, bus, na titingnan natin kung ano yung addressing safety needs, no, and road safety practices. Kung ano yung pwedeng mailagay sa harap ng driver na hindi rin makakasagabal o hindi makakadistract dun sa pagmamaneho niya. On our own, we will do that sa LTFRB.
Sir?
Related sa gadgets, talking about gadgets, there were earlier complaints from the sector, the jeepney sector, that in the modernization plan, nandun yung require yung Wi-Fi, GPS, the works ng mga all the gadgetry. I think it was still spelled out in the one of the slides here. And question, let's say, in particular jeepney routes or routes, however it's pronounced, like for example, within UP or UP Pilcoa, defined yung ruta niya, you don't need the GPS for that, or I don't know. Yun yung mga complaints na nila. So, would that still be carried on, or if not, how would it be? Kasi baka in some areas kailangan, I don't know. So, paano?
Yeah, we will, point well taken. We will look into that. No? But actually, the overall, since you mentioned about GPS, it's not simply, when you have a predictable loop service, hindi mo na kailangan ng GPS. Sinabi mo kasi GPS. Ang the function of the GPS ho, and so from the point of view of regulation, is also to determine speed, to determine timeliness of arrival and departure. Because we're going to come up, in the bigger picture of this, the bigger program of this, is actually we're going to come up with what you call public transport information and management system. So we're looking to the day when lahat ng PUV ho, kahit na anong ganong klase, merong ganong klaseng feature. So that we'll be able to monitor where they are. We will be able to monitor in terms of addressing supply and demand issues. No? Kasi sasabihin natin, maraming supply, kulang yung demand. no? Or kaya maraming demand, kulang yung supply, and then we all know that on that particular route, maraming nga talagang supply, bakit nangyayari? Mahaba yung pila, yung mga ganun. So it's more on the regulatory function. No?
You just mentioned about supply and demand. There was a moratorium on franchises in 2003. But obviously, with the increasing population, there would be a demand for more public transport, right? And but since there was a moratorium in 2003, obviously those that came in out beyond that can be considered colorum, no? Can I say that? We keep on blaming the public transport, but it's actually the volume of private cars that are dominating the roads. Like, as of latest count, 400,000 vehicles, four-wheel, kasama na yung trucks, jeep, all four-wheel vehicles ang binibenta na ngayon every year. So that's, a big part of that is entering Metro Manila, including those from Central Luzon, Calabar Zone. So that's really causing the traffic. So
point well taken so far as traffic congestion is concerned. As I had mentioned earlier, really, if you have an inefficient or inadequate public transportation system, that is how you're going to encourage people to buying cars and getting more cars on the road. And that's precisely why we're going to modernize, upgrade the level of services insofar as public transportation is concerned, to discourage people from getting more cars on the road. So that's the only way to go kasi hindi naman talaga pwedeng yung car-centrist program na kung ma-traffic, lagyan mo pa ng mas maraming daan. Talagang, hindi talaga pwede, it won't work insofar as LTFRB is concerned. It won't work. The way to move forward is really to modernize the public transportation system so that people will be encouraged to take public transport. A case in point, although we have launched this formally perhaps in a grand manner, but we are already seeing the future today. P2P, for example, P2P is a modern public transport service with all the works, GPS, CCTV, and everything else, Wi-Fi, and we have asked people, the way the LTR also would examine certain types of public transport service is scientific, it's data-based. So we were able to determine that about 40 to 50% of those taking P2P buses are actually car owners and have decided not to take their cars on the road anymore because there is a much better public transport service that the government was able to offer. So yun yung ganong klaseng. Pero yan kasi, that's just one mode. We would like to address the problem sa pangkalahatan in a comprehensive manner, in a systematic way of addressing it.